that if women became educated, too much blood would flow to their brains and their childbearing organs would shrivel up. There has been no end of reasons, but none of them stands up to scrutiny. Let's say that one of the true reasons has to do with power and control and the encouraging of a malignant side of human nature, the pleasure some take in inflicting pain on others. Many women in Afghanistan have already disproven the idea that women cannot teach, learn, research, invent, cure, and create. Perhaps they will be forced into the shadows, hidden from view, their talents made unavailable to their country and their communities. But what they already know cannot be erased. I can't predict the future. I don't know how this amputation of women and their skills will affect Afghanistan. Perhaps younger women will be more despairing, as they did not live through the time when women moved from invisible to visible. Perhaps older women will be more tenacious, believing that what has been accomplished before can be accomplished again. In our strange and desperate times, plagued by a pandemic and by the brutal effects of the climate crisis, nothing is predictable. But as the Afghan women themselves have said, we are still here. That in itself is a considerable statement. Over 40 years of turmoil and destruction, of rebuilding, of more destruction, they have been through so much. A country without any women at all cannot exist for long. No matter how much a regime may hate and punish women, it can't do without them entirely. But what sort of women? We shall see.
Introduction by me, Nahid Shahalimi. For as long as I can remember, we have not had time to mourn. One disaster has succeeded another. We have lost loved ones, our homeland, our freedoms, and our hopes. Now, an entire nation and its youth are being denied what they require to even feed themselves and their families. My Afghan friends and I do not have time to mourn because we want to help those who remain in our homeland and give voice to those who go unheard and may never be heard again. Radical repressive forces are now at work in Afghanistan, and this is of significant concern to all people of the world, but especially to women. Although Afghanistan is physically distant from Germany, which I call home today, radical ideas know no borders. It is only by telling you about the past that you can truly comprehend what we once had and what we have repeatedly lost, and what we have lost once again with the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan on August 15, 2021. My first trip back to Afghanistan in 2011 on Ariana Afghan Airlines was 26 years after my family and I fled our beloved homeland. There were years when it was not possible to travel to Afghanistan, especially from the 1980s to 2001, because it had become too dangerous. My mother, who had visited Afghanistan before 2011, and subsequently more often than I did, joined me on the trip. I was very excited. Over the past 3 decades, I had dreamed of what it would be like to return to my native land, but I could not imagine what my arrival would feel like in reality. To my surprise, there were many exiled Afghans on the plane, both men and women. Why were they going back to Afghanistan? Was this also their first flight back? These were questions I would have liked to ask the passengers. My fashionably dressed Western seatmate was 25 years old, born in Germany of Afghan parents, and had just completed her master's degree. Apparently, she wanted to see her fiancé, whom she had met at a large Afghan family gathering that is so common. It was her 5th trip to the country, and she had not a trace of fear. I was overcome with a sense of belonging, and a feeling of happiness coursed through my entire body. I didn't realize how much I had longed for that feeling. For the first time, I understood what it meant to have a birthright. Among the other Afghans on the plane, I was not an outsider. We spoke one language, and I was on my way home, at last. I not only wanted to see and visit the country of my birth after so many years.